next one that I watched here, let's have a conversation, Cody. Arcane season 2. I ended up watching all of it again. Arcane season 2.
Well,
Oh,
before
man.
you start, would y'all like to tell him?
We also watched Arcane.
Let's do it. Let's have a conversation, all of us then. You guys want to start?
I want to hear ratings first.
Damn, you want to go into ratings?
Yes.
John, if you want to go get a snack, man, and get some water, listen.
Fuck.
I just want to hear. I want to hear the ratings so we can get to explain.
I got my food right there. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Well, we can, since we're fresh, we can start with us, I guess. I give season 1 a 20 out of 10.
Wow.
That is phenomenal. Season 1 was greatness.
That's great.
Incredible.
Great.
But
no, nothing. And then season 2 is like an 8. That's your ratings.
So you chose an 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an 8.
Andrea?
I also gave it an 8.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
Season 1 is a 10. Season 2, crazy enough, I think I'm at an 8 with that as well.
All right.
So nothing crazy, nothing
crazy.
I wanted to scare you a little bit.
No, you're good. I'm not worried. Hold on, before you go, I just wanted to say, remember when I first came to y'all about this, season 2, I was lower on. I changed my mind over time. Go ahead.
Also changed my mind over time. A little bit, not too much, but a little.
You guys want to go ahead, Justin? You want to lead it? You want me to lead it?
So, like I said,
we could talk strictly on 2. We could just skip 1 if y'all want to just.
Yeah. Season 1, we all know everybody.
Amazing,
season
man.
1's amazing. This is great, perfect. Season 2.
So when it came to this show, I'm just gonna speak for me. I'm not gonna speak for her. I was solely invested in the sisters. Like that's what I wanted to see when they're on screen. That's when, like, I'm not, proverbial sit up. Like, I'm paying attention. I'm locked in. When it came to season 2, like, and it's crazy enough, after we finished it, I saw a video, and I don't know if he's the creator or the director. I don't know what. Oh, he's the program creator. This guy, Christian Link. He's been going at fans crazy on social media. And, obviously the fans, they have just, they've been putting this guy through the ringer. But he even said that Vi specifically took a back seat this season.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a creative decision. I personally didn't like that creative decision. There's a point in time. Well, okay, fuck it. Because like we said, spoiler talk. So around the time that the season started to lose me, and we didn't see this obviously as the acts were dropping, so it's a little bit harder to speak towards that. But I guess because the first 3 episodes is Act 1, or is it first 2?
Yeah, first 3 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay, so I thought the first 3 were great. Like, I was still locked in at that point. It's around 4, 5, 6 that it started to lose me. And it's around the time that Vi goes into that underground boxing shit or whatever that was. I just kind of felt like around that time, that's when it just started to feel like rushed. Like, shit was like, you can explain that part better, because we agree on that same aspect.
Yeah. It's just, are you talking about her and Jinx?
Yeah.
Well, Jinx at the end has a redemption and people love her. I really didn't see that redemption. Because it goes from,
Neither did she.
Yeah, like it goes from she's a symbol to the people, And then all of a sudden, she finds this little girl and she's taking care of her, which is fine. Whatever. I mean, what's his face did that to her. Silco did that to her. He's
Vander?
still a villain.
And Silco.
No, Silco. He took care of her. Still a villain. And then all of a sudden, she finds she frees everybody, and then she the beast. That's
Warwick.
her dad, Warwick.
Yeah.
You
know his
Vander.
I paid attention.
That Vander.
He had subtitles.
He's in the beast or whatever, and then she finds Vi, and she tells him like it's Vander, he's alive, and so they go and they try to get him or whatever, but that was it. There was no redemption. That I saw that she like didn't make amends with her sister, and then her sister still ate that shit up. She still was like, she's changed. But it's like, we didn't see her change. Why? Because she took care of a little girl and she like calmed down a little bit. Like she didn't make amends with no one, no apologies. She didn't, and she helped people escape out of jail. We know why she did that. She went there to go look for the little girl. And I didn't see no redemption for Jinx. Maybe a little bit towards the end, but that was her redemption. It wasn't at the end, it was like right there. And I just felt like clearly they meant to have like a redemption for her, but maybe they didn't, or they thought they did, the writers. And then Vi too, like Vi forgave her so easily. Yeah, they had one little argument, but that was it. Like they still teamed up to go look for the dad. And Vi, after that whole scene, Vi was like, "Oh, but it's my sister and she's changed." She tried to convince Caitlyn, like, "No, she's different now." And I like, yeah, like maybe she is different, but we didn't see that. And we also didn't see Vi a lot when she was missing for like 2 episodes, or like one or 2 episodes. She went missing, and then right after that, that's when Jinx went to go get her, and she was in the ground, and she even like dyes her hair. She was doing the boxing stuff, and she had a whole hair change, but we didn't see any of that. And I think that comes from the person saying, "Oh, she took a back seat because there was more important characters to write." And I thought those two were the most important characters of the show. And I really wish that they were, I guess, fleshed out a little bit better in that in between time. Because in the beginning, oh, they're great. And then it gets to that time and they're kind of like, we're not really with them a lot. And then towards the end as well, it's not really about them anymore. So I do wish that they were more focused on that.
I'm gonna try and touch on a lot that you said. I agree with a lot up until some of the stuff, because like, well, I'm just on the last thing if y'all remember the beginning, because I'm kind of losing it. But the show did a great job in season 1 establishing the characters, and it wasn't more so on the actual point of the show, because it's not about them. Even though they are a focal point, it's not about them. And by season 2, that's when they really go into what the show's about, and it's the Arcane and what it's doing to the world, really, and like, you know, them finding out like all of the stuff, the hex tech and all that. It's about all of that. They're just characters in the show like, one of the main things that makes you figure that out, obviously, is in season 2 is when Echo time traveled, and when he's in the other universe, and he's like, "Oh well, shit! If I didn't send him on that job, hex tech wouldn't have been found." Like, or they know he did send him on a job, but like how it happened, they didn't find hex tech. Like, he just, like, that was the reason. But I think what you're not realizing is that they weren't the main characters. They're like just main like side characters. Like
I disagree with that.
Yeah, let me get in on that real quick. Let me get on that because season 1, these were our main characters. It was Jinx and Vi. It was that.
Mhm.
I get what you're saying, where they, at the end of the day, maybe they weren't the main characters, but this is where it feels rushed right here because to me, I would have wanted it to be more grounded, like season 1, to where we could see this whole explanation, still see the underground versus the top side, the city,
Mhm.
and get that conclusion, and then we can transition to like, oh shit, we got bigger problems going on over here with Victor trying to do his shit, because Victor's shit was also a rush too. Like, he just became a villain off of Jace killing him. Like before that happened, he was ready to help humanity, and I'm gonna show you guys what's going on.
See, that's
Go
another
ahead.
thing, because Victor, it wasn't much more so his humanity was gone. He's not even really like a human anymore. He's more of like an entity. Like he's like,
I get it.
Yeah. So his transition, I could see it. Like a lot of the rush that y'all are seeing, I see it as like, it wasn't rushed. It's just everything is happening at the same time, so it feels rushed. Like, don't get me wrong, I wish there was more of the show, like more things like I agree. Seeing more of Vi would have been nice, and more of like their her and Jinx, like establishing that reconnection. But I think what they did was okay, because at the end of the day, like, they showed it happening in some form or fashion. But when it comes to these other characters, like Victor, he just completely lost his humanity when he was inside of that thing and he came out. He basically wasn't himself anymore. He was already something
Yeah,
else.
but before that though, he was like trying to help humanity and have this whole
Mhm.
existence. Let's coexist with everybody, and I can help everybody. Everybody's welcome and shit. And then it just transitioned to him just allowing, fuck that, I'm gonna take over
But see,
everybody's
this
will.
is what you're
And
saying. You remember right before all that happened, he was telling Jace. He said, "Jace, destroy it. You need to destroy it." But he didn't destroy it, and that was his last like lick of humanity he had in him. And that's when it all happened, and he was done for. He wasn't Victor no more. He was, you know.
I just think we should have seen that fleshed out a little bit more for sure.
Well, we know why he, I guess, became one with the core.
Yeah, because with the
because he
sure.
lost that girl that he ignored the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
Like
know.
another thing, the Black Rose. What the fuck
Nothing.
were they about? What the fuck were
Now,
they about? I was interested in, like, oh shit, who
Listen.
are you guys? Like, what's going on with the Black Rose? Like, oh, that's kind of crazy.
No.
They didn't give me shit on that.
I feel y'all
Well-
completely, but I just want to say real quick, because I know a lot of things now. Because so that's what they're gonna touch on with the new things they're gonna start making.
I needed to touch on
That
here
you can't.
in this
That's
season.
not fair.
I know, because I agree. I was with y'all. I was like, what the fuck? This shit is dope, but they're not touching on it, and it pissed me off too, because I wanted more on Mel. I wanted more, but we
I
didn't.
did like Mel too.
But that
But-
was. Go ahead.
When that happened, I was like, this came out of nowhere. Like, because she was saying, like, I've always felt these feelings before, and I knew that, I knew that basically I'm this. I have felt this before. Not once throughout the show do we see any of that.
No, it's not. It wasn't a feeling thing. Her mom knew the whole time. That's
But
why she
didn't,
said.
and we didn't get to see any of that. And
No.
I wish that we would have, because I felt like that came out of nowhere.
I promise
All of
you
a
it
sudden,
didn't.
she's like a mage, and she has this magic, but we don't see it. We don't even see her being like a little bit weird.
No, because that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like subtle hints that were supposed to be shown. Like, the mom knew the whole time.
I'm not talking about the mom. I'm talking about her.
I know the mom knew the whole time. Like, she talked about it.
That's-
and when Black Rose came, that's when it started happening. It wasn't supposed to be
Okay.
something you hint at and show the entire time, because it was always
But
there.
she says, I've always felt these feelings before. She
I need to
says
see that. I need to see that clip. I'm not gonna
She
lie.
says that to, I think, the sister, when she finds out she's like, who are you? When she finds out what she is, she's like, I think she's telling Jace, actually. I don't know. I don't remember who she's talking to, but I remember her being like, I've always felt these feelings. I just, like, I didn't know what it was. And not once did we see that. So I was just like, that came out of nowhere. The mom, yeah, like, maybe the mom knew, but also, I don't know. I didn't really care for the mom and her plot point.
No,
Oh
yeah, she was.
no. Ambessa was fucking. That was an
Yeah,
amazing character.
She's dope.
I loved
No.
Ambessa. I loved Ambessa. She did her thing, and
No, yeah, she was a good character, but I didn't really care for it.
no, I cared for her. I cared for her what she had going. I mean, they needed to tell us exactly more what was going on. I think, but
No,
her as a character, I loved it.
That's one of the issues I think the show had, is that it was so short. Because like I was telling y'all
Yeah.
before, I think they did a great job of making you care for a lot of characters. And that's what their flaw was, because it's so short that they didn't get, for some of you, like you guys, they didn't get to flesh it out. But, and this is something that obviously it's not fair, and I'm not giving it points for it or anything like that. But a lot of people that have played the game, because all these characters in the game, they understand, and the people know the lore of this already. There's things people already know about the characters. So a lot of things that are happening, people already understand it. So they're okay with what was happening because they know what's gonna happen most of the time.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I know, I get
Mhm.
that, but that's what it was.
I do think all of the problems would have been solved with just putting either more episodes or maybe another season.
They needed more episodes.
That's kind of crazy though too, because this wasn't even canon to the game's lore. Like they had nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, facts.
And then they saw how the success of it, and they're like, oh shit, we have to make this canon because this shit's amazing. And then they made it canon. So for them to go in with that mindset of like, oh, I know what the games are doing. Nah, that's wrong.
No.
Because
Okay,
they didn't have
let me
this.
rephrase that. It's not the game. Like, how do I explain? It's like, what is it? Something has a lore. Okay, the game doesn't have the lore in it itself. The characters have their lore aside from the game. It's not in the game. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. No, I get that point. Yeah.
So like, people there's a lot to the lore of Lord of the Rings. What the hell? To League of Legends, and everybody, like, a lot of people know this lore, and like this is something that like a lot of this stuff is already known, like all of it. Not like exactly how the story's told in Arcane, but they know like characters are going to be introduced, how characters, like they saw the characters, they know who they are and what they're going to do in the show. Not how like it happened, but because of the character and what they know in the lore. But like I said, it's just the extra stuff they're going to make is going to, oh my God.
Well, that's fine.
That's why I say this. I can't really knock it or give it points for that, but that's just a fact.
To me, and I guess to a lot of people too, they've said that this show is fucking expensive to make, and maybe that's why they had to rush it, because this was planned for like.
I've seen it the most.
It's the most expensive animated.
I believe it.
So they probably were like, hey, now we need to conclude this shit. Like, well, we got 3-4. I think I saw somewhere it was supposed to be 5 seasons. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know. It's supposed to be a 5-season type of shit. That's how much they planned for, and I guess they ran out of money, or they're like, no, we're not fucking pumping any more.
It makes sense.
So that's kind of where the pacings go. So I had an issue with a little bit of the pacing. I had an issue with it not being grounded anymore with Vi and Powder or Jinx. I had an issue with the Black Rose not being discussed at all. Arcane, explain that to me a little bit more, because I don't know exactly what it's magic in the world that wizards have that not everybody has access to. But I think I needed that needed to be fleshed out a little bit more. So those were my main issues with the show. Any other main issues that you guys had a problem with before we move on to maybe some positives?
Unless I'm tripping, because when in the start of the second season where Caitlyn goes down there, and obviously it's not just her, but she's the bitch in charge, and she gasses the underground, and then like we're kind of just sped through it, and by the end of it, like it's like the whole thing between the top side and underground, it's not really like resolved.
I wanted to see that resolved. I wanted to see them.
I agree to an extent, because you got to understand they were both under attack, and Bessa was coming to ruin it all, top and bottom.
You just gassed all these people; they just didn't give a fuck.
I know, but at the same token, like they, like I said, when he brought them in that room and they had that speech, he had when Jace gave that speech, like, y'all, there's nothing y'all can't. Y'all have to settle the feud. Y'all have to just call a truce, because at the end of the day,
a lot of them left.
Yeah, and a lot of people did back out. People didn't want to do that. Like, that was what had to happen. They couldn't have time to resolve their little feud.
They came back, though.
Some people did, not all of them.
Most of them, the ones that we saw leave, came back.
I mean, but that's what I'm just saying. Like, at the end of the day, that's why that couldn't be resolved like that.
Like, I just think like I don't know if it needed a whole nother season, maybe, but it for sure needed more episodes.
Yeah.
Or longer episodes, maybe.
Because just some things, just like speed, and I just feel like some things are just kind of like a little unbelievable. Like the whole thing with Vi and Warwick and Jinx, like that was enough just to forget everything that just happened. Like it's like
She was literally saying like, "That's not my sister anymore."
that's enough. It's not even really him.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with that because I think the one person that could bring them back together was Vander. So I that's to me believable on that aspect.
But Jinx is fucked up in the head.
I mean, not anymore.
Well,
How do you just get over that?
And then we see her having all those visions, and then all of a sudden she doesn't.
Like that's like what she's been like. That's trauma. Like she's seeing the people that she had a hand in killing.
Yeah,
Like they are plaguing her. And so half of a quarter of Vander is in this beast, and that's just enough to like get over that.
There's Vander and the little girl,
and the girl. Yeah, it was a combination of both.
That's enough for like years of trauma. Like that's what I'm like. This isn't a span of like a couple days.
No, she was with Isha for a while. Forgot there was a whole.
How are you figuring
that? I think see that goes back to the rushing. That goes back. If I'm not mistaken, I did hear like those scenes at the beginning of those episodes. Those are like. Those might be time jumps.
Yeah, there's time skips.
I did note it. Yeah,
there's time skips. So yeah, and again, that goes to the show being rushed and not really explained well. Absolutely. So you're not wrong on that aspect.
I think that's the main problem with this show. It was rushed, and we could have really benefited from more episodes.
The positives, the art was the animation. Still fucking phenomenal. Still had amazing shots. The music, to me, I saw some people didn't really like the music in this one. That's to me, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's wild. I absolutely love the music. Yeah, I love the music choices on all this and different scenes that were happening, and they played music to it. That was phenomenal. My favorite character before the season was Vander. I love the aspect of Vander and him being that father figure to them. So seeing him come back to me was like, oh shit! That's as soon as he said powder. I was like, oh shit, no way, that's fucking that's crazy. So to me, I enjoyed that. I don't know if a lot of people did or not, but I liked when that reveal of it being.
I thought you were geeked that he was a wolf.
Not fucking that too. I mean, that too was kind of crazy. But after the season concluded, Jinx is definitely my favorite character. I loved her character development. I mean, obviously we could have seen a little bit more of it, but I loved how she started off as a kid. She's trying to help. Then we saw what happens at the factory, which the warehouse is kind of fucking. That was a crazy scene. I know you guys just watched it. That was a crazy fucking thing. She ended up killing all her friends and people and shit. And then her just having those mental problems at the end of season 1, going through all of that. Then season 2, having those mental problems still, but then transitioning to this hero that she didn't ask to be. She didn't want to be. She didn't want any part of that. I thought that was phenomenal too. And then to finally getting that little girl in her life and being like, she's the Vi now, and she gets to see this little girl's, relationship. So I thought that was good too. And then by the end of it, do you guys think she's alive?
Yes. y'all seen the slow down that explosion, right? She's alive.
I before I even saw any videos or anything, when she played the scene of the fucking vents. I was like, oh, there's a reason you're looking at the vents. Oh, she's alive. Then I went to go watch YouTube videos, and there's evidence of her fucking moving to the side and going into the vents and shit like that.
It was the balloon for me.
And the balloon being, I didn't even catch that either. I had to go watch some videos, and they were like, no, at the beginning, the whole show starts.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And the glitch. I saw the glitch. I'm like, oh, shit. But at the beginning of the whole show, she said, I'm going to, one of these days, I'm going to be flying one of those. Mm-hmm. And that's how the show ended. So I believe she's alive. I think it's kind of hard.
It's crazy because, obviously we didn't know anything about Arcane. But now, like, being into the world, these girls love Jinx. Like, she is
Everybody
a beloved character.
Yeah. I'm there. I'm there with them. I love the character development that they gave her.
Not crazy. Echo was him.
Echo, we didn't get enough Echo. The whole first season and the whole second season up until like the last, I was like, yo, Echo, you got the fireflies. What the fuck is going on? You're not doing nothing. You're just, sheltering people. That's all you're doing. I wanted more of Echo. I did. So, but he got his own episode, which, by the way, that was a phenomenal episode. I absolutely loved it. That was probably my favorite episode of the season. Fucking amazing. And then the last part when he showed up with his fireflies, I fucking geeked out. I said, fucking finally, he's here with the fireflies. Let's go. Let's do this shit. So I enjoyed that too. But I did need more Echo throughout the whole show for sure.
That time traveling scene, both of them, where
Yeah.
he's like going on his hoverboard or whatever, that one, and then where he's talking to Jinx to stop killing herself, that shit, I was like,
Oh yeah, that scene was phenomenal, man.
that
She
was
blows up and then it just comes back.
crazy.
Like, oh, what the fuck just happened? And you see it's him. Yeah, that was amazing.
That was
That was cool.
nuts.
That episode, the time travel one, was pretty cool because I think even before that episode, right before when Victor died, he was talking about how anarchy. I can't remember, but it was something to the effect of anarchy and peace being like two sides of the same coin. I think was the quote there, and then getting that episode right after and seeing how this world would have been without hex tech, and then Jace going through what he's going through, where hex tech is prevalent.
It was
and that was
Echo
phenomenal.
being happy, and then it's flip. You see Jace just, bro, he's in darkness.
Yeah.
He's going through it.
That shit was a phenomenal episode. I absolutely loved it. But I overall I love the season. I love the show. I was still there besides those, those issues that I had. I absolutely enjoyed it. And people saying that this is trash. To me, you're wrong. This is 50-50. This is a 50-50 split from the fan base, from the community. People either think it's trash or people love it.
Wow.
That's the only way it's going. So
I've only heard people not
saying
like
it's
the
trash
intro.
is crazy. No.
People think like the Imagine Dragons are ass or something. I don't know what that
people
is.
were tired of the Imagine Dragons shit. I was singing this shit.
Hell no, I love that shit. I wanted to know how y'all felt about the ending.
I like the ending. I didn't have an issue with it. More so, we're saying Echo and then the time traveling.
No, just
that
the
or
entire ending, like how it ended, and the conflict of with Victor and all of that.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it. I think it was done as well as you can do. But I enjoyed it. Jet, Andrea, what you guys think?
I think it just goes back to maybe people's problems is just like, if someone feels like it's rushed and then you get to the ending and now we're like, wrapping up things and things in their mind aren't being concluded, or we have maybe like an open ending to some characters. Maybe that's it. But I mean, I thought the ending was fine. It's a final battle. Things are going crazy. There was some cool sequences in there. I thought when Mel saved Caitlyn from fucking Maddie shooting her in the back of the head.
I fucking hate that bitch.
That shit was ooh.
Yo.
So there was some cool things in there, but just thought it was all right. I don't know.
I thought it was good. I think my favorite character, and this is people hate him. I like Jace a lot. I think he definitely had. I like him a lot. I think he had the most character development out of everyone in that show, and that's including Jinx. And I really liked him, and he never like shied away from his morals. But he was put in so many like predicaments where he could have, and maybe sometimes he should have, like he didn't want to make weapons, and maybe he should have made fucking weapons
until he got put in that other universe, and then he came out that motherfucker swinging that hammer down.
Crazy enough, if he would have never shot Victor, we would have never had this whole thing. Victor wasn't even on that type of shit, but he shot Victor and ended up progressing the timeline.
Yeah, he was my favorite character. And Mel too. I really, really loved Mel, and at first I couldn't tell if she had like ulterior motives, and maybe a little bit at first she did.
Yeah, I think so at first.
She was like very like, and I loved the scene when I loved the whole time she's like, I'm a disappointment to my family, where I come from, like my family exiled me, like I'm not like them. And Jace is telling her like, oh, like that's not true, like I don't believe that. And then we see in a flashback that the reason why she's a disappointment is because her mom is a fucking war criminal, and she is like she's a dictator, and she's not. She has like, she has compassion, and she has like this, like she wants to be fair to people, and that's why. Well, that's not why she got exiled, but at that time we were thinking, oh, that's why. And we see that, and I'm thinking like, either at first I'm thinking she's lying, I'm thinking the same thing as Jace, but then we see that and she's like, and I'm like, no, she did get exiled, and it's not for the reason I thought it was. So I really like Mel a lot, and Jace. Yeah, those are my two favorite characters. And then I loved the colors and the way that they used the colors in this show, it was so beautiful to look at. But each color it represented something. It meant something. They used them in such creative ways. I have never seen a show that uses colors like that. The whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, like we know what colors what, and everybody had like their own color, and I love that. That was beautiful. So it's a beautiful show, very very well made. Just pacing's a little wrong, but I loved it.
I thought it was dope. Somebody had pointed out that the last battle in this season 2, like the ending, was a recreation of the game. I didn't notice it. It's a red versus blue, and then there's 5 heroes on both sides. It was dope.
Oh shit. Okay.
And they were
Yes,
going for the
what was
core. It was dope.
I wouldn't know.
That's cool.
I will say, and I'll be the one, to bring it up. The budget being $250 million, I believe that every dollar went into this show.
Yeah.
No money laundering possibilities whatsoever. I believe
Wow.
that every dollar was spent on this show, and it goes back to what we were talking about. Like, I've also seen the theory that instead of 5 seasons, they're taking that budget that was left to go do the other shows. I don't know if is it 3 shows or is it 1 show covering 3 things?
I think it was
I heard 3 shows.
3 shows. I think
Because it's 3 different areas.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they're gonna spend the rest of that money. I don't know if it's gonna look as good as Arcane. Hopefully, but shit.
I hope it is.
Yeah, hopefully it was one of them ones for sure. Like it was a great show.
When we were watching it, I was like, oh, maybe I should play League of Legends now.
No.
And then he showed me what League of Legends looks like, and I'm like, I'm not playing that.
Never mind.
Fuck
Yeah,
no.
I played League of Legends.
They got a fighting game coming out. I saw that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
They got a whole TikTok dedicated to it. You can see Jinx's like moves and shit.
So I can assume y'all don't got this over any other animated show?
Oh, I'm not Avatar. I'll tell you that much.
Not an Avatar.
Yeah.
Not Avatar.
Not Attack
Nah.
on Titan.
Avatar from
That's
beginning to
anime.
end, man.
That counts
For
as
sure.
anime.
We had this whole argument.
That counts
With
as
the animated show and
animated.
anime?
Yes.
Oh my
It
god.
counts. Just like Game of the Year, it can be a fucking DLC
Yeah,
and a regular
exactly.
game.
That doesn't count
Exactly.
either.
Nah, that shouldn't.
They
Well,
just added
apparently
that
it
this
does.
year.
There's no
They just
rules.
added that this year.
But all right, there you
Okay.
guys go. Arcane, mini review, mini discussion, however you want to see it. Let us know what your thoughts are on Arcane season 2. Obviously, I think we should all be in unison for season 1, right? Like that's phenomenal, probably peak. So let us know what you guys think about season 2 down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Somewhere in the middle. Let us know.